You are welcome back to my show. I'm Cyrus and this is Toontum Network. This is going to be a very, very short episode. So like usual, when I put out an episode and I see certain comments, especially from subscribers, I am prompted to respond to them. I did an episode on why the hate towards Nigerians, and that has received a lot of mixed reactions. I think it's either people are just plainly being disingenuous or have made up their minds on certain issues. I am a Ghanaian, and that alone makes many people feel I have a certain hatred towards Nigerians without any specific reasons. Ever since I started this podcast, I have tried to be fair in my analysis, and many people can attest to that. However, I have also overlooked certain facts which people bring my attention to it from time to time, and I gladly respond to that or admit in the comment section. But there are certain people in the comment section who strongly believe that I harbor some sort of hate towards Nigerians or something like that. But this is what I'll say to them. I personally would like to respond to specifics of what I said in my episode or in the comment section. It's important to identify the pointers and not just make some wild allegations. Now, there is no righteous country out there in the world, and certainly not Ghana. As a matter of fact, Ghana, in my opinion, is on the top 10 list of most corrupt countries in Africa. And I'm not saying this to flatter you or anybody. As usual, I'll give my reason for saying such a thing. And my reason is because of when we gained independence, the resources we had at the time and still have, and how much money we have borrowed since that time, and yet how little we have to show for. And in terms of morality, I have lived in other African countries where they have more morally balanced people than in my own country. Take, for instance, South Africa. I found them to be really honest people. If he smoked Daha, he will tell you he smoked Daha. Same in Kenya and in Botswana. But when I talk about Nigeria, it's not because I hate them or I have some hidden agenda against them. No, I do it because there is absolutely no way to talk about anything concerning Africa without bringing in the elephant in the room. I have repeated this many times in the comment section. I believe it. I am not going to change it, and that is my viewpoint on it. Whether for good or bad, they hold three strategic positions that makes Nigeria a must talk about on the continent. The most populated, the biggest economy, and the most traveled nationals on the continent. Which aspect of these three can be overlooked? Be honest with me. Is it even possible to travel to any part of Africa without finding a Nigerian there? Be honest with me. There are villages in the very heart of Ghana where many Ghanaians don't even know where it's located, where I went to do prospecting for gold and found Nigerians there setting up shops and living their lives. And this is not just in Ghana, but everywhere in the world. So what's the agenda in observing what's common knowledge? But if you are a Nigerian and you're offended because I bring your country's name every now and then in my podcast, then this is what I'll say to you, and I'm not going to mince words. You have to get used to being talked about because it's typical of every powerful country. Nobody has time talking about a country that is going nowhere. And no matter what anybody says, it can only be for good or for bad. The good encourages you to do more, and the bad makes you realize how best you can make adjustments. Either way, it can never hurt you. Like I said in my other episodes, all manner of publicity can become an advantage if you choose to make it. The farther your name goes, the popular you are and the popular you become. And the more people want to know or see more from you. It's a cycle that pretty much leads to your advantage if you don't look at it from a pessimist point of view. Now, because I'm making this short, let me read just one comment I found interesting. And this is what he said. Mr. Toontum, it's a pity that your personal analysis of Nigeria shows how ignorant and others in your state of mind are. And I know the great majority of Ghanaians are not in this your mini state of mind. I've lived in Ghana, and the Ghanaians are very smart and intelligent people. My professor and godfather is from Ghana. Nigeria population is 4 times that of Ghana, and just characterize such numbers with jealous statement because you lived with a couple of people who you can't meet their standards. These are some of the segregation issues that great Nkrumah fought for decades. Have heard any European saying such things about fellow countries, even if it were to be true? Do more research. And I responded to him by saying, do you know you spewed anger and wrote a lot without actually mentioning what I said that made you comment? I'm interested in knowing what I said wrong that made you comment. Kindly draw my attention to it. Thanks. First of all, Nigeria's population isn't 4 times bigger than Ghana's. It's actually more than 7 times bigger than Ghana's. So maybe you'll have to do a little research before commenting. Secondly, I waited for him to come back with a response to what he disagreed with in my delivery, which he didn't. Thirdly, I also have a lot of Nigerian friends in Ghana and outside of Ghana who are subscribers and watch consistently. They are quick to call me out on any issue they disagree with me on, and I'm careful to elaborate further and sometimes make changes. It's only unfortunate that he couldn't raise one particular aspect of my episode that I goofed or spoke nonsense. I hope he comes back to watch this though. And finally, you have no idea what's going on in Europe. But not just Europe, but the whole world. The Netherlands, for your information, through their newly elected president, is threatening to pull out of EU. Do you know why? Go and read about his stance on certain countries in Europe. Have you checked the position of the president of Poland concerning immigration? There is so much you can learn from here in addition to what you know. So instead of accusing me ignorantly, you should consider asking more questions. And so I have a request for all my Nigerian subscribers, especially for those in Ghana or those who visit often. How about this? How about we have one of you guys come through the studio to discuss in depth most of these issues I raised starting from January next year. How about that? It will be a pleasure to host you at least for one episode. And by the way, I have other Nigerians on board for this project for next year. So you can send me an email and see what we can do together for at least one episode. And because I said this is going to be a very short episode, I'll just leave it here. Thank you so much for taking time to watch today's episode. God bless you. And until I come your way next time, it's bye-bye for now.